Millie, because her story is just really interesting, Jackie. I'd love for other owners to hear your experience.
Mhm.
I know you wrote and told me about it, and I find her story particularly interesting because I'm so passionate about plant-based feeding in dogs,
Mhm.
and your journey is nothing to do with the choice for veganism or anything. So,
Yeah,
so let us know your story because it's
yeah,
really interesting. So start from the beginning with little, with
yeah, of
little.
course. So yeah, we've had well, Millie's nearly 4. She's 4 next month. Um,
Yes.
but she's always kind of had like tummy problems on and off, and where we used to live, we had a really good doggy daycare she used to go to, and they had a shop in there, so they were really good at advising like different foods and things. And we tried so many different foods, but she would be on them for a little while, and then she would still get poorly. And we went to the vet, and she had tests and like blood tests, and they couldn't really pinpoint anything. And then
Did she used to go off her food as well, knowing it was making her poorly, or did she always have an appetite?
she always had most of the time she had an appetite. Like, so there would be some mornings where she wouldn't eat and where she was too poor.
Yeah.
She would
Yeah.
normally eat like later on the day, but yeah, she was still eating it, and you feel terrible, but you need
Oh,
to know what's going on. So
exactly.
yeah, and then so it was last summer. She was just ill, like on and off for 4 weeks, just about every night. She had like me and my husband up during the night, and she'd been sick and having an upset tummy, and
Yeah.
we were all just a bit at the end of our tether, really. And so we went to the vets again, and that's when we were referred to a specialist vet, and we thought she was going to get a colonoscopy done that day. So we were really worried. We didn't really want her to go through that, and we just wanted to find out what was going on. And yeah, so the vet who we spoke to, she said, "Oh, have you tried vegan dog food?" And we were like, "Well, no." And she said, because I always just assumed, I mean, Millie's our first dog, but I always just assumed that dogs would have to eat meat. But she said, no, it's cats that have to eat meat, but dogs don't have to.
What a wonderful forward-thinking vet,
Yeah,
because there's so few that have her.
right.
Is she one of the specialists, or was she just with?
Yeah, it's a specialist vet just outside Aberdeen.
Oh,
We're referred to, yeah. And then so I went online and obviously came across your website, and we tried she said, yeah, try the vegan dog food before we do any further tests. She did some blood tests and things. And then yeah, so that was about 8 months ago, and after a few weeks she was just such a different dog. And ever since then as well, she's been great. I mean, I think, yeah, sometimes she does eat things that she shouldn't, like most dogs do, and
yes,
that will upset
absolutely.
her tummy. But the food is just, yeah, it's just so good for her, and she just loves it. Like, she comes down, she's waiting for the food all the time,
Oh,
and
fantastic.
just full of energy as well. Right, yeah.
Oh, what a relief. And what a relief for you, because there's nothing worse than seeing your little dog in discomfort
Yeah,
and in constant pain
yeah,
and just lacking that life that you want, especially border terriers. They've got such character. They're so
yeah,
full of life and so energetic and happy little dogs, aren't they?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but so how what a oh gosh, you are just so fortunate that you had a forward-thinking vet who didn't just reach for the prescription diets
Yeah,
in the veterinary practice that are normally hydrolyzed, where they break down the protein molecules of meat into tiny particles so the dog doesn't
yeah,
recognize it. Those diets tend to not be palatable. They're full of quite artificial things, really.
yeah,
Whereas a vegan diet is just so much more natural and healthy. And
yeah.
so in a way, yes, thank goodness she's sort of chosen one of the healthiest diets that she can have, which is
No,
fantastic. And so is it the dry? Is it this? Because I know she loves her Solo Vegetal, doesn't she?
yeah,
Which was the one you've been buying. And is it the dry or the wet that she prefers? Which is her?
yeah. The wet one.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
tins.
the thins.
Perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
We did try the biscuits as well. we try and give her a combination of like biscuits and meat, just to, well, not meat, the
for variety.
the variety, just for her teeth and things. But we've been, it's hard because you do want to give them treats and things, but it's just making sure we give her things that are vegan, because then we know that it's natural and it's good for her, and she just seems to be just a different dog when she's eating the vegan food. So it's been great. Anybody that I speak to about, if their dog's got, I'm obviously not any kind of expert, but if anybody asks me about, get chatting to someone with a dog and they're like, oh, I've got an upset tummy, I'm like, oh, have you tried vegan dog food?
Oh, wonderful. So you become
and they're like, no, and I'm like, oh, you should try it, because it's different in our lives.
Wonderful. It's been a lifesaver for you, hasn't it? It's life-changing, really. If she didn't have it, she would have continued down the path of illness, because what Millie has is obviously just a severe intolerance to meat protein or chicken protein or any of the animal proteins, which actually is the top allergen and food intolerance you get in dogs. So thank goodness for that wonderful option. Oh, and have you thought of home feeding for her? Have you ever been brave enough to consider home cooking? Not
really. I think I have kind of looked at it, but I think just to get the right amount of nutrients and things like that, if you're buying it, you kind of getting everything they need. So
that's true. Exactly.
It saves time as well, I think. As well. But I did look at it, but I just thought it was maybe a bit too complex to get it right. But there's so many different foods on your website to try,
Exactly. Keep it there. There are. I mean, there's so many different. There are different foods now that you can try her with as well. There's other companies that are making tin food that came out last year. So there's other varieties, not just the Solo Vegetal tins. There's Hound tinned food. There's the Pack came out last year, which is the tinned food as well. But don't discount home cooking, because it's if you're starting to find that actually buying the tin food is getting quite expensive. I know she's only little, so she doesn't need a huge amount, your little Millie, but it is such a lovely, natural, healthy way, and actually very bonding as well. And because I have a supplement that I sell that has prebiotics, it's like us. So you need a certain level of nutrients and vitamins, and obviously if you're just plant-based, then it's got the extra addition of those extra amino acids that she needs for her health, plus the calcium that she needs, but it's also got extra pre and probiotics. So really, really good for her gut health. And then just given with some healthy natural foods that you're probably cooking yourself, some rice, some sweet potato, quinoa, just ingredients that you may be cooking yourself, and just make a little bit extra for Millie. So that's something for the future, when if as an option as well for Millie, because it's just the same as us. If we just eat processed food and ready-made meals, we won't be as healthy as good old traditional home cooking with whole food ingredients. So it would be the same for Millie if she could have some whole food home cooked ingredients. It all benefits her diet, but obviously you've got to feel comfortable with it. And thank goodness for you, you've got the option now with this vegan food, because it's something fairly new to the UK, and thank goodness it's now growing in size, so that's why Millie will have a lot more food in the future. But now I found your case particularly interesting, because the owners I normally speak to are devout vegans who don't want to feed meat to their dogs, so they've gone down a completely different route. But yours is wonderful in that finally there's one vet out there outside Aberdeen who's promoting me, which I'm just so, as a vegan vet myself, I'm just so happy to hear that, because it's wonderful that that she saved Millie really with her advice. Thank you.
And that's the thing, just the thought of her getting, having to go through a colonoscopy.
Oh, absolutely.
She didn't need to. It's like,
Yes.
yeah, it's just, we just didn't want it to happen that day we drove through there. We were like, oh, we don't want her to go through this. But we just felt like it was the next, we were being advised it might be the next step. But luckily the vegan food has stop that. So yeah,
absolutely. And the other thing that it saved you, I know emotionally she's so much happier and you haven't had to go through any more pain or discomfort, but actually long term she's that vet who recommended it has saved you so much money, because I mean just the investigations would have been expensive, but the long-term management of Millie, if they had started to go down the hydrolyzed prescription diet route, plus all the medication every time she was unwell, the constant trips backwards and forwards to the vet, you won't get that now, because the diet that she's having is so nutritionally balanced and healthy that, and they are a healthy little breed anyway. That actually you've had a huge saving in vet bills as well, on top of everything. So all worth it. So thank you so much for this, Jackie, and so lovely that we got to see little Millie, your pretty little Millie.
And you know what, even the vegan dog food as well, it's not like that much more expensive than what we were buying before, so it's great for her.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know that it is one of the best for her, and it smells nice as well, doesn't it? Those Solo Vegetal tins, they are one of the favorite of our own little dog. He just absolutely loves those. But yes, it's also that knowledge that there's nothing artificial in there. There's nothing going to be harmful. There's nothing said to die to feed your little Millie as well, which is such a lovely thought. It's sort of, and you've given her the most fantastic carbon footprint as well with her diet. So there's everything positive that this wonderful vet has done for Millie. So yes, so well done.